The problem that faces Africa, we have the history of colonialism. That history has burdened independent African countries for a long time. I believe that very few countries have shaken off the burden of colonialism after independence. For a long time, independent African countries continued to focus in terms of relations to their former colonial masters. It is now, in recent history, that we have begun to collaborate as African countries among ourselves, changing focus from the former colonial masters, relating to ourselves. Africa, as a continent, has resources enough to develop, modernize, and industrialize our continent as a people. But it has taken us long to shift from the focus of believing that our development must be linked to our former colonial masters. Africa has resources that, if we correctly focus on the domestic resources we have on the continent, we have the resources to develop our countries. Most importantly, in my view, since the Second Republic in Zimbabwe, we have decided that to develop our country, we must embrace science and technology. All our universities in Zimbabwe now have a serious bias towards science and technology, because we realize that the countries that have developed have done so on the basis of science and technology. We have introduced focus that in the past we had graduates from our universities who spoke English very well, but did not produce a product. So it is critically important that our younger generation must have the pride either to produce a product or a service. In the same manner, our universities must produce products where, when they leave university, they contribute to their country by producing a product or a service. The first world is the first world because they have produced products for themselves. They have produced a service which services their own demands for their own communities. So that's what we must do. So Africa must shift its focus towards science and technology, which brings about a service to the people, a product to the people. The things that we need. Yes, there is the philosophy or the understanding that you cannot invent the wheel. But it is necessary that we change our approach to development and modernization by embracing In fact, as a continent, we have everything at our disposal to modernize, mechanize our agriculture. Our education system should produce students who, when they leave university, they should have the pride that they have the capacity to produce a service for their country. They have a pride that they are producing products for their country. And that way, without much reliance on Europe, Asia, whatever, but exchanging scientifically the resources and knowledge among ourselves as African countries, I can see our country developing very, very fast. It is, in my belief, that those countries in Africa, on the African continent, who are doing well, they are doing well because they have internal domestic focus. What do they have? What can service their needs at the domestic level?
It's word from President of Zimbabwe that Africa now we need to produce students who will come and solve our challenges in our countries, and end of the day in the whole continent of Africa. You know, sometimes we say education system of Africa is teaching us to be dependent. Once you graduate, you will not have any to do, but what you will do is to wait for the government or any company to employ you. This is not what we want, because if we want to develop ourselves, we need this science and technology. In other hand, as he said, President of Zimbabwe, and through our resources with education that our we young Africans will achieve our goals, because we will know how to solve our challenges. I always ask myself that those who are got this scholarship to India, China, USA, and other parties of the world, we don't see their contribute to the mother continent of Africa. Some of them, they even never, I mean, they never come back again in the continent. Some, once they come in motherland, then nothing going on, because the kind of education that we receive is not compatible with our environment. So the call to the ministers of education that it's the time to know that which education will favor the African kid is must be taught, and not this colonial system that they told us our history. They taught us, they teach us each and everything that they want to teach us, not we want. So we need to teach our own history. We need to teach education which will move us from one place to another through what we get from the school. So, brothers and sisters, let us understand this in deep meaning, because by using this colonial education, we will not go anywhere, because this education system is teach us to be dependent to someone else in order to employ you and other things for us. So, brothers and sisters, now let us teach even our children. We must teach them how to solve challenges, and not if they want to, if they can solve it, let us teach them not to wait for the parent to come and solve it. So, the education system that we need to be taught is that will help us to solve our challenges and not even to wait for the government, because if we want to solve our challenges, we have the ability, then let us do that. So, brothers and sisters, I don't have much to speak on this, but I hope you understand well what President Mason meant. So, what's your thought on this issue or on these words from the president? Please let me know on the comment section. This is Facts About Africa.